Brett teaches Raspberry Pi.
Brett teaches Raspberry Pi.
Brett.
Tech is cool. T-minus 5 seconds.
Brett teaches Raspberry Pi.
Awesome. So now we've gotten to do the fun part, the hammerhead. So next is installing the operating system. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Of course. So Raspberry Pi has its own operating system we're going to install on there. It's a really small operating system built just for it. So we're going to go through the steps of actually installing that, but first we need to get our hardware set up so that we can actually install it. Our actual software is going to be stored on the micro SD card here. Flexi, if you want to show how to put it in the little USB drive you get with the kit,
Yes.
It just kind of comes apart. And if you notice there at the very end, there's a little slot that the micro SD card will slide into. Go ahead and just slide that in there. Okay, perfect. So we're going to put it in the bottom of there, and then all you're going to do is you're going to take this little device and you're going to slide it into a personal computer. I'm going to go ahead and use Windows, but it does also work on Mac. We obviously know Windows is superior, right?
A little too much judgment there, Brett.
Okay, either one of you can use. They both work. So I'm going to demonstrate, like I said, on a Windows. We're going to go ahead and move over to that next, and then we'll get the operating system on there, and then we'll get the Pi up and running.
I'm ready. Let's get some pie.
Let's go do it.
All right, now that we have the Raspberry Pi hardware set up, the next step is to get to the Raspberry Pi operating system ready to go. So once again, I'm using a Windows machine here to do this, although a Mac is another option. The first thing we want to go do is go down here and open up a browser, and we're going to go to raspberrypi.com. Okay, once we pull up this web page, we're going to go ahead and look for the software menu item here, there in the middle of the screen. Okay, and this is the page for the Raspberry Pi OS, the operating system. We're going to download it and install an image of the operating system on the micro SD card. And notice here, it is called an imager. It's what images the operating system on there. We're going to go ahead and click download for Windows, although if you have Mac, click that one. Make sure you save this to a location that you're familiar with. I'm going to go ahead and click my recently downloaded link here and run the imager that downloaded. Okay, this is going to pop up. Just go through the install process. It's mostly click install, let it do its thing, and then click finish when it's done. Make sure you keep that checkbox checked. That'll load the imager as soon as we're done here. Okay, this is the Raspberry Pi imager. Before we image anything, we should format our micro SD card so that it's completely erased and ready to go. So first thing we want to do is plug in our micro SD card to the PC that we're in. Use that USB device to plug it in. Once it's inserted, we're going to click choose storage here to make sure we find the storage device further. Make sure you don't pick your hard drive or anything. Make sure you pick the one that's the micro SD card. It'll be the one that's like about 8 gig generic mass storage device. So go ahead and select that. Make sure that's selected there. Then we're going to go over and choose OS button. Click the choose OS button. But we're not going to choose Raspberry Pi. We're going to scroll down to the bottom here. We're going to choose the erase option. We want to erase the micro SD card once again just to make sure nothing's on it. It sets it all up. When we go ahead and click, double check that you've got the storage device picked there, and then we're going to click write. And it's going to say, you're sure you want to erase it all? Just hit yes to that pop-up. So it's formatting the micro SD card right now. Don't remove it. Make sure it stays on there. Okay, this says it's finished. We've written over it. Okay, so we want to now make sure to reselect our proper storage device. Select that same one you did before. Now we're going to actually pick the, where it says erase here, we're going to change it to choose the operating system itself. Scroll up to the top. There's a Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit. Make sure you click that. That's the operating system we're going to install. Make sure your correct microSD selected and click write. Okay, and this is going to pop up. If you had previous settings in there, you've done this before, it's going to ask if you want to clear the settings. I'm going to go ahead and clear them. You might not see this option, but go ahead and click clear settings if you get this pop up. And then it says, are you sure you want to write to this device? It could erase everything. Yes, we're going to go ahead and say yes to this. Okay, and so now it's writing our operating system to that micro SD card. And so this will take a minute. We're going to go ahead and speed it up so you don't have to sit and watch all this. Okay, and now the Raspberry Pi operating system is written to the SD card. We're going to go ahead and take it out of our computer and go ahead and place it in the Raspberry Pi in the next video. So go ahead and safely remove it from the computer, take it out of that USB device, and we'll put it in the Pi here coming up.